Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tristate with Tiny and Katie.
Welcome to Let's Talk Tristate, powered by Home Right Windows and Doors in Waynesboro, the Right Choice voted 2024 winner of Best of the Tri-State. I'm Tiny. Katie is out under the weather today, but we have two very special guests with us from United Ways of Washington and Franklin counties. Directly to my left, we have Amy Hicks, and then directly to her left, we have Heather Guessford. Ladies, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
And we are going to do something that we haven't often been able to do. As a matter of fact, Amy was, I believe, the first and possibly only person to have ever done this with us.
Oh, my goodness.
So since Katie's not here, you ladies get to be co-hosts for the day.
Woo.
All right? Well, not for the day, at least for a little bit here, okay?
Yeah. We'll take
So
it. Yes.
we always start out with it as Monday, January 13th, and the weather for today, as Heather laid it on me, it's going to be up to a high of 40 today.
Ooh,
so
heat wave.
yes, I love that. Absolutely. Yesterday,
chilly coming in.
I had to, my wife says to me over the weekend on Saturday, she said, hon, I need to, she's in that mode now where it's I need to purge things, I need to clean things, I need to do all the things.
Yeah.
And she's been wanting to tackle our foyer closet for quite a while. And she said, I'm going to clean it out and get it organized. She said, so I'm going to set the stuff over here of what's yours, go through it, fine. So as she's doing this, I realized that of all the closets, and the one thing that she is a stickler about, and she pretty much designed our house, but she's a stickler of all the closets should have lights in them. Well,
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and our foyer closet, for whatever reason, the builders didn't get the memo. So for 7 or 8 years, it obviously, since it's been built, hasn't had a light. So she said, hon, did you want to, get your... I said, well, I was thinking about maybe putting a light in there. And she goes, oh, okay. So out of nowhere, it's a spontaneous trip to Lowe's.
Yeah.
Shame
Think
for
about
me,
turned
you
into
know.
you will.
Yeah.
Usually turns into very spontaneous.
Right, yeah, it did, as a matter of fact. It was at least 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. And then that turned into not just the light, but it turned into putting 4 shelves in, custom built in, all that kind of stuff. So very busy with that. So it was...
I was thinking like those little pocket lights that you can just battery operated. They just pop them right in there.
No, I get that, but there's...
That was way too easy, right?
Well, if I were not inclined, I like to, do odd jobs around the house and build things and all this. So if I didn't have that inclination, I might otherwise do that. But if I can do that, actually install one, I'm going to do it. So there I am up in the insulation in the attic and, cutting the drywall and all that out. So it was a lot of fun. But I said
you're
that.
A good husband.
Oh, thank you. I said that because yesterday, knowing that I had to finish up the project, I was going to have to make some cuts to some wood, and I needed to go outside. I'm like, it's going to be so cold out there. And I went out about 9:30 in the morning, and I was like, it's pretty nice out.
Pretty nice. It was delightful.
Yeah, I'll take it. Comparatively speaking, yes, it was.
Comparatively speaking, we got used to the cold. That was the funny thing. We looked out. I think it was 34 right around lunchtime yesterday. And we walked out, and I was like, this is so nice.
Yeah.
Since when is it nice at 34 degrees?
No, this afternoon's going to be fantastic at 42. I'm ready for it.
I am so ready. So we have 2 national days today. The first one is National Clean Your Desk Day.
Okay.
I feel like I succeeded with that one.
On Monday.
That one on Friday I succeeded with.
Yeah, the first week of January I worked on my
Did
desk.
you?
Oh, it needed it back.
Oh, mine too. Oh, God. It's so bad because I absolutely value a clean workspace, but I get so busy and am there so infrequently that it kind of just becomes a dumping ground. Oh, Tiny, this package came for this piece of equipment. Great. Now I put it there, and then when I need it, I go back and get it. So my desk becomes more of a flat surface that can store stuff versus me sitting there doing anything. So I guess that's kind of good and bad. It means I'm not sitting on my butt
That's right.
in front of a computer screen all the time. How about this? I'm going to see if you ladies can guess what national day this is, okay? It is National Blank Day. The first, and I'll give you a hint, toys. It's a toy, okay?
It's a particular toy.
A very particular toy.
Okay.
All right? The first of these toys were around in the 1800s.
Oh.
And by the way, if at any point in these, the next 3 clues, you know it, be the first to say what you think it is, okay? But you only get one guess.
Yeah.
Oh, we only get one.
Oh,
now the pressure's
oh, gosh.
They began being mass-produced as toys in the 1940s. So I guess there was a very small pocket of people in the 1800s who had them, and then they became, they went nationwide or whatever in the 1940s.
Sounds like they weren't a toy forever.
Yeah.
Now here comes, I think, this would be the clue where I would have gotten it, no doubt. They made their debut on Sesame Street as Ernie's favorite toy in the 70s.
Rubber duck.
Rubber duck.
Oh.
Yes. Now, the final, I don't know if this is necessarily a clue, but it certainly is interesting. Rumors swirled in 2001, supposedly, from a British tabloid saying that Queen Elizabeth had her own royal version of a rubber duck in her bathroom, complete with a crown. Because of that, fans went crazy for the sales, and the toys sales rose by an amazing 80%.
Ooh.
Why wouldn't they, right?
Wow.
If the Queen has it, you got to have it.
Gotta have it.
Right. No.
Well, we are going to take a quick break on Let's Talk Tri-State. We have Amy and yeah, we do know.
Royalty in the bathroom.
We have Amy and I was thinking, well, did they do like a rubber duck that had a crown and just sell that, like mass produce that? But it was actually just the regular version of a rubber duck that people went out and wanted to get because the Queen had one. Yeah.
Wow. I just can't get behind like the Jeeps with all the rubber duck. I know that's like a Jeep.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
not offending the Jeep people, but every Jeep, it's like, oh, they get ducked.
Yeah.
All of my
I
Jeep
wouldn't-
friends with the ducks.
I wouldn't. The whole thing with that is I wouldn't spend my money to reward someone else for having something that I have. You know what I mean? Like
And you got to talk about cleaning your desk. I'm like, clean your Jeep with all the ducks in the like,
Right.
cluttered. I know.
I can barely.
such a Jeep.
I can barely store what I have, not a gross of rubber ducks. You know?
But Jeep people love it.
So
Like,
funny.
it just looks so cluttered.
Yeah.
Their whole windshield or it's their dashboard just cluttered and ducks.
Yeah, they are.
But they live for it.
Yeah, here's a geek thing though about the rubber duck.
Yeah.
My son's a computer programmer, so he keeps a rubber duck at his desk, and supposedly, if you're a computer programmer and you're stuck because something's wrong with your code, you talk out loud to the duck, and it solves the problem. Like,
Wow.
and
So you're saying I've been yelling my profanities at the wrong thing?
wrong thing? You need a duck.
Okay, so yelling at the computer is not what I should do.
No, the computer won't respond. The duck does.
The duck
That's
responds.
the version of like the stress ball is yelling at the duck.
Yeah.
Instead of squeezing
Sounds
the
like
stress
it.
ball.
Yeah,
Amy bringing the knowledge today.
How about
with
that?
Rubber
Put it on,
ducks. Okay.
I'm on it.
Well, keep that knowledge. Keep that knowledge around because coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to be back with Amy and Heather, and we're going to be talking about the United Ways of Washington and Franklin counties and some of the needs facing our local citizens this time of year. That's all coming up on Let's Talk Tri-State.
I'm Nick Seco from Home Right Windows and Doors, and we're located in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. So we do vinyl replacement windows, we do steel and fiberglass entry doors, we do aluminum storm doors, and we do sliding patio doors, all made by Provia. The windows are a vinyl replacement window, and it could be anything from double hungs to casements to bay and bow windows and everything in between. So when somebody calls in the office and needs an estimate, they get Roxanne on the phone typically, and she would schedule an appointment for me to come out and take some measurements, provide some literature, go through what options we have, and then I would follow up within about 24 to 48 hours with an estimate with all the details of the products as well as the installed price. I find that we're typically much more affordable than the companies that you see advertising on TV or in a lot of other places. If they're spending a lot of advertising dollars, obviously they're passing those costs on to their consumers. You could go to our website at homerightwaynesboro.com, or you could call us at 717-749-4874.
The Waynesboro Civil Service Commission is preparing to conduct police officer examinations with key dates set for February. Interested candidates can obtain application packets from Borough Hall during business hours or via email, with completed applications due by February 14th at 5 p.m. The testing process includes a physical fitness exam on February 22nd and a written exam on the 27th at 6:30 p.m. Veterans and those with Act 120 police certification may receive additional points, and the borough offers up to $1,000 in relocation expenses for successful applicants. The Greencastle Antrim School District is buzzing with excitement about its upcoming ribbon-cutting event for a brand-new building. On Thursday, January 23rd, from 4 to 6 p.m., the community will have the opportunity to explore the district's latest addition at 360 South Ridge Avenue. This event will feature a ribbon-cutting ceremony at 4:15, with building tours running every 15 minutes. Located between the middle and high school, the new facility represents a significant milestone for the district, offering enhanced administrative and educational support spaces. Visitors will get to see the new two-story, 12,800 square foot building that consolidates the district offices and provides improved resources for alternative education programs. And finally, the Franklin Fire Company has announced receipt of a $6,000 donation from the Land O'Lakes Company. This money will be used to upgrade the equipment for stabilization of overturned vehicles and extractions. We are sincerely thankful for their contribution and support, volunteer Kenny North stated. Every little bit helps. The Franklin Fire Company applied for this donation from Land O'Lakes, which is affiliated with several dairy farms in the area. The fire company is all volunteer.
Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tri-State with Tiny and Katie.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Tri-State, all powered by Home Right Windows and Doors in Waynesboro. Once again, joined by Heather Gesford and Amy Hicks from the United Ways of Washington and Franklin counties. Ladies, we should say, and Heather put up a very good point. She's like, we just love all the Jeep people.
We love Jeep people. Don't send us any hate mail about Jeeps and their ducks.
We're waiting for
joke.
The tweets and the hate mail to come in. Just what's wrong with rubber ducks and Jeeps? Nothing. Keep doing your thing. I promise you.
Yeah. The ducks, the Jeep ducks.
So let's talk about the United Ways of Washington and Franklin counties. We've had you ladies on several times, both individually and jointly. It's always a great time with you. It's a sad topic though that we have to talk about this time of year. So Heather, let's start with you because you were filling me in a little bit off air about some of the need that is happening in our area right now.
And we just like to say thank you for the opportunity to get out here and talk to our community seasonally or monthly, and when we come up here to be able to do this because we like to be able to let our community know what's going on. Sometimes it's fun conversations, sometimes it's not so fun, but right now we wanted to come up and just share that we are seeing a lot of seasonal layoffs, unfortunately. So it's no surprise that Franklin and Washington counties, we have a very large distribution center population. So right now, unfortunately, we are seeing quite a significant percentage of our population that are without work right now. So specifically, they are looking for new opportunities. They have pretty low skills or unskilled positions. They were, again, warehouse, picker, packer, order fulfiller type positions that some of them were not anticipating being let go. Some were under the understanding that it was seasonal work. Unfortunately, what we are being told is that a lot of them were not made aware that these were seasonal positions, so they were pretty caught off guard. Wow. So we are stepping in to help them. We are working with the Western Maryland Consortium, some other providers to help them with some temporary assistance, to help them with some job placement resources. We are helping, of course, with our United Against Hunger Food Fund. Of course, we've talked about in some previous sessions, we're trying to help with some utility assistance because that has been an ongoing and continuous issue right now, just with the cost of heat and utilities. That has just continued to be a pervasive issue. Yeah. So that's the big issue that we're seeing right now in the first of the year is that we have just seen massive layoffs from our distribution centers in Washington County, unfortunately.
And I know that we've talked about this before, how everything that you are offering comes at a price. Nothing is free, so right. Donations are needed. What I love about what you said, though, is when it comes to unemployment, it is typically this long drawn-out process for anyone who needs assistance to get it.
It is.
I think I understand. I don't say I understand why. I understand that it can be an extensive process, but the bills don't stop.
Right.
The bills don't wait because the bill collectors don't know that it could take you 30, 60, 90 days to get any type of assistance from unemployment or the state or whomever that may be. I love the fact that the United Way has programs and these things in place that can potentially help people to bridge that gap quickly. I think that is wonderful. Amy, take us through what you're seeing. What would you like to add on to that, if anything?
Just adding to this, I mean, obviously, we're here to try to step in and fill gaps wherever we can. And there are a lot of organizations we're working with in the community supporting what they do.
Right.
So we become a connection point to try to fill those gaps. But the other piece coming out of that, we do workforce training out of our shop. And so connecting to the skills to find other opportunities is something we can help with as well. And I think that is a critical piece. On top of it is the long-term solution and trying to help, bridge other opportunities.
Yeah.
But we're seeing that obviously with cold weather snap. We've been in the process of collecting a lot of warm weather or cold weather gear.
Okay.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And getting that out. That's been the big thing, and working with some of the local school districts, but also working with some of the local programs. We've got a Keystone Outreach that is doing a great job of connecting with people that have immediate needs.
Mm-hmm.
Little Daisy's Closet, they've been busy, and Homeless Matters is another organization in our community that's out really working through the school districts to get things out. So that's been our big effort the last few weeks, has been getting those things out, and then we're moving into a food drive at this point to try to replenish food pantries because they put so much out during the holiday season.
Yeah.
And then, you come out of the holidays and there's still a need there, but the shelves are depleted.
Right. Yeah, people don't just eat during the holidays.
Right,
I mean,
right.
it's where the need is obviously the greatest, seemingly. But then, I don't think people really think of that. Is the food pantries, right after the holidays, that's when their need may even be the greatest, is because they're depleted.
Right. There are a lot of resources put into the holiday season, which is awesome because you want everybody to have a great holiday season. But the fact is, you got people trying to survive right after, people facing layoffs right after, and that's where our work is right now.
Heather, you've talked many times about the Alice program that you offer, and I think that is one of those things that we should hit on every single time that you're here. And the reason for that is because a lot of people may assume, well, there's no help for me. I'm working, but I can't make ends meet. And I think a lot of us assume and feel that that's just kind of the way it is. That's the way life is. That's the American way. We work, and yet we barely make it, or we don't make it, or we rob Peter to pay Paul, and we push this one aside and choose to pay this bill. Take us through the Alice program and the folks who can benefit from that.
And it feels so unfair.
Yeah.
It really does, and that's where there's such a stigma about that, too, because there's a lot of shame involved with that. And that Alice really is that, for lack of a better term, that working poor. And people are so frustrated by that, and they do feel like, they just can't ever get ahead. But Alice is that acronym as a reminder for your viewers: asset limited, income constrained, and employed. So they live just above the federal poverty level, so they don't qualify for those civil programs or those civic programs, such as those SNAP benefits and those housing vouchers. So in Washington County, 43% of our population is Alice. And in our most recent Alice report, that is the biggest spike that we've had since 2010. It jumped 3 percentage points in 2 years.
I don't mean to interrupt. I want to make sure. When you say 43%, you're not saying that 43% of folks are contacting the United Way for the Alice program. You're simply saying that they would qualify for that. They would live within those restrictions.
They're in that, and that's massive.
Yeah.
So that's 43% of our entire population is barely making ends meet. And that also means that they're living on just the most basic, modest household survival budget. So there's nothing extra.
There's no fringe.
There's no fringe. There's no travel. There's no vacation. There's no, going out to eat. There is just the
it's survival.
It's
really,
survival
pretty much.
only.
And that's what they call it, actually, survival budget. The Alice, it's basically the Alice survival budget, where all the bare minimum is there, and then there's a little 10%, which typically you're looking at that being eaten up by things like school fees if your kids are in school, or maybe car repairs.
Car repairs is huge.
There's a piece in it for a car, but it's bare bones for a car. So if something goes wrong with the car, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And
these are the folks who they're not. If just imagine it's so easy for us to just I want to drop by Chick-fil-A. I don't feel like making dinner. I got to get Chick-fil-A for the family. These are the decisions those people don't make. That's not even
not even a thought.
Right, exactly.
And Amy touched on with the vehicle. We typically see with vehicle and medical bills are number one and number two that really are pummeling those Alice.
Debilitating. I would imagine, yes.
And car insurance.
Yeah.
The past year, car insurance has just spiked.
It's skyrocketed.
Oh my gosh, it's just went through the roof.
Yeah,
and I know for me, I've been driving the same vehicle for 4 years. I mean, I'm driving Miss Daisy. I'm so like Pollyanna.
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
get any
No, I'm with you. I'm the
speeding
same way.
tickets, nothing.
Yep.
And mine has doubled. It's crazy. My car insurance has went through the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, how do people, and again, how do people survive? If you're already living on that survival budget, what do you do? So you have to decide, okay, do I give up my vehicle that I can't afford? And then it's a spiral.
And I can't get to work.
Yep, you can't get to work.
To make just less than the bare minimum.
Yep,
exactly.
Can I put gas in the vehicle that I still can't afford? And you're right. That is the cyclical and sickening is what it is.
It just spirals.
Yeah.
And that's where we are putting so much energy and time and investment right now into our transportation program. It's called Ride United Network, RUN for short. And right now, that is what we're just pushing so many of those Alice clients into. Let us help get you to work. Even if you have a car, and that is our plea where we are just telling people, even if we can save you a couple days worth of gas, that is what, like, the best gift that we can give to you right now. If we can save you a couple days of not having to fill that tank up, right now you can use our RUN program for 6 different things, whether it's going to access food, going to the grocery store, food bank, food pantry, housing solutions, getting to school, but of course, healthcare, obviously, but number one, it's for work. So right now, number one use, people have been using it to get to work. So like, help us help you to ease a little bit of that burden.
I think part of it too is that the best way to say financially what you're talking about, and I totally understand, is not how can we get money into your wallets, but how can we keep money in your wallet?
That is the
if
goal.
you have it.
Let us help you hold on to what you have.
Right.
And I think that's one of the keys through the services we work. And when we're working with people in the community, it's trying to help people understand this is where resources are. Use resources that are available so you can use what you have for the things that we can't touch.
Yeah.
Because, the reality is most of the time when we get a phone call, it's because somebody is about to lose their apartment or their shelter within a couple of days. And finding help, there just never seems to be enough funding to meet the housing need. It's huge, and I mean, even for people that have the means, housing is at a premium right now.
Yeah.
So trying to say, okay, here's where we have resources that are available and ready to go.
Yeah.
Use these so that you can use what you have for what you really need.
Well, and it's almost like you try to get an accountant who can tell you all the different places you can claim this and you can't claim this, and if you do this, you'll save more here. And you and I, we don't understand all these, I don't want to say loopholes, but we don't understand all these ways around things that will suit us best and be the best for us. Yep. And utilize the tools in front of you that you may not even know. And that's exactly what you're saying is, look, let us help you at the United Way. We will help you. This program, we're full. I can't do anything about that one. But to your point, Heather, if you can, if I can get you to work 3 days this week, imagine that how much does it cost you to fill up your tank of gas? $50. Well, then we can save you $50.
Yep. We tell them also about with the taking it to the grocery store. Let's take it to Aldi instead. Or let's take it to a food bank or a food pantry. So we talk to them about, okay, we can take you to this food pantry because you don't need a SNAP card or you don't need a food bank card. This food pantry or this food bank, it's walk-in. We can get you some groceries. We can get you some shelf-stable food. Or let's take you over to Aldi instead of going to, one of these quick marts where it's going to be, 3-4 times what you're paying, what you would normally pay at Save-A-Lot or Aldi. So they're not allowed to take one of our RUN transit vehicles. You're not allowed to take it to fast food. You're not allowed to take it through a drive-through. And we'll know because we can track exactly where they're going. We have real-time eyes on it all the time. So we restrict it very intentionally because we want to make sure that we're educating them about where they can get the most value for their dollar. Again, encouraging them to go to Aldi, to go to Save-A-Lot because they can get the most for it, or to take it specifically to a soup kitchen or a food bank.
And maximize the services.
Instead of the resources.
Instead of to go to a type of Quickie Mart, Penny Mart, and I'm not naming any by names, obviously, but that type of model of convenience store.
Because the reality is, and I mean the reason that we're out talking as much as we are is because we're trying to bring in more resources because there's so much more need in the community that we're trying to meet. So when we can help educate you, get you to the resources that are available, use those, like prescription cards are another thing. We have prescription cards, and I know
Oh,
you do too.
they're great.
And we don't want anybody to miss a prescription over not being able to pay for something else. Use the prescription card, use the food pantries, and that'll save what income you have for the things that sometimes we can't touch.
Right.
And
explain the prescription card. Is that a United Way the program, or do you mean like the assistance cards that the drug manufacturers offer? What are you?
We have a partnership, and I'm sure you guys use it too. It's a partnership where you can stop by our office, and a lot of our partners have the cards too. And you pick up a card, and it's just a savings card, and it works in most pharmacies to bring the cost of normal prescriptions down.
Up to 80%.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you can swipe it over and over again.
Yeah, it's not got any, like, there's really nothing attached to it, which is beautiful.
Okay.
You just
CVS,
take it and
Walgreens, all your major manufacturers.
So they basically are processing this through a program that will say, okay, whatever supplemental money needs to be had, here's the program that's doing it, and the business handles it. The pharmacist or the pharmacy handles it.
It's a national program.
Yep.
Right.
You just swipe it like you would with your insurance card every time you go to pick up, and they'll, whatever's more affordable, whether it's your insurance or the card, they'll take the higher of the two.
That's wonderful.
So,
Very
but
good.
it's over and over again. It's a little plastic card. We have them in English and Spanish, which is great. But I've given them to my mom. I've tried to use them. It's anybody can use them.
Anybody
Whatever
can use it, 'cause
saves you money.
You just take the card and run with it, basically.
Why not?
It's wonderful.
Save a few dollars. Sure. Again, keep money with you as opposed to having to go out as much as possible. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us. We know the need is great, so obviously financial donations are the best thing that you can get, because the United Way will take the money and put it to use in the best way. And you've heard some of the needs that are here, and we have wonderful people like Amy and Heather here who are helping to forward that movement with the United Ways of Washington and Franklin County. So, ladies, we'll certainly have you back. We'll probably see you in the next couple weeks, okay?
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back with more Let's Talk Tri-State.
Let's talk Tri-State.
If you'd like to be featured on an upcoming episode of Let's Talk Tri-State, call 717-597-9200 or email letstalk@921thegoat.com.
I'm Nick Seco from Home Right Windows and Doors, and we're located in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. So we do vinyl replacement windows, we do steel and fiberglass entry doors, we do aluminum storm doors, and we do sliding patio doors, all made by Provia. The windows are a vinyl replacement window, and it could be anything from double hungs to casements to bay and bow windows and everything in between. So when somebody calls in the office and needs an estimate, they get Roxanne on the phone typically, and she would schedule an appointment for me to come out and take some measurements, provide some literature, go through what options we have, and then I would follow up within about 24 to 48 hours with an estimate with all the details of the products as well as the installed price. I find that we're typically much more affordable than the companies that you see advertising on TV or in a lot of other places. If they're spending a lot of advertising dollars, obviously they're passing those costs on to their consumers. You could go to our website at homerightwaynesboro.com, or you could call us at 717-749-4874.